It's been quite the year for anime movies. I don't mean that in a good way. Hey, what's up, you guys? Film fan 0599 here again. Today we're going to review the Lego Ninjago movie. So, the Lego Ninjago movie stars Dave Franco, Justin Theroux, and Jackie Chan, and what this film is basically about. It's about this, kid named Lloyd, and he is along with this team of other ninjas, and they are of course the Ninjago clan, and they have to stop this, evil force and whatever. And oddly enough, the evil force is the father of Lloyd, and there's some conflict there, and hope for some hilarity will ensue with it. So, what did I think of the Lego Ninjago movie? Now, I did love the first two Lego movies in this series. I love the Lego movie. It was one of my favorite films of 2014. The Lego Batman movie, which came out earlier this year, was fantastic. I love that film. So, I was hoping maybe for the best with this film. Even though when I saw the trailers, it didn't really look all that well. I wasn't really too excited for this movie. Not like I was dreading it or anything, but I was still a little bit hopeful that this movie could at least be a fun, enjoyable film, and it's not even that. Honestly, the Lego Ninjago movie is pretty much just a generic kids movie, and that sucks to say, because like I said, the other two Lego movies are so fantastic. They are definitely some great anime movies that cater both to kids and to adults. This one, nah, this one's just like, we're just gonna go straight after for the kids. It's just gonna be a generic kids film, and that's exactly how this ends up as. And it's just kind of a bland and mediocre movie, and it sucks to say that. So, let's get into my positives with the movie. And my positives are, first being, the voice acting is actually pretty solid. I do think, a lot of the voice acting is pretty good. I did enjoy them. Dave Franco was really good. I thought he, did a pretty solid job as Lloyd. Justin Theroux, who does the voice for the main villain, he was great, and I enjoyed him. He was very good. He did a pretty solid job. Olivia Munn is also in this movie. She plays Lloyd's mother. She was good too. Same goes for Michael Pena. He's in this as well. The dude that was in The Big Sick, I forgot the actor's name, but he's also in this too. He was pretty funny. I did enjoy him at parts. So, yeah, and then Jackie Chan, who is undeniably, for me, the best part of this entire film. He plays probably my favorite character in the entire movie. He was great. He was enjoyable. He plays his master. He's great. It's like the perfect role for him, and I enjoyed him in the movie. He was definitely by far the best part about the film. I will say this, the animation is great. The animation is really fantastic with this movie. It really is. Just like with the first two Lego movies, it's really great. I love, the Lego style animation that they do with these films, and, it still works here. I still like it a lot in this movie. There are some funny moments in the film. There were some moments that I did think were pretty funny. I was like, okay, that was actually funny, especially when they're describing the ultimate weapon. Like when they first describe it, it's hilarious the way that they describe it and what goes down that scene. But yeah, there are some moments in this film that I do think are funny, and the comedy is pretty solid. And lastly, I do like this world that they build with the Lego Ninjago world. I do think it is pretty cool. I did like the atmosphere that they did build with that world. Now the negatives. Unfortunately, I do have a lot of negatives with this film. And first being, even though, like I said, the voice acting is good, the characters are not really all that interesting, to be honest with you. I didn't really find them somewhat intriguing or investing in the film. They just weren't that great. Like, they weren't awful characters. They were just very bland to me. They just weren't that interesting. They definitely could have done a lot better with these characters, I feel like, with this movie. Like, they just weren't that good. They definitely could have done a lot better. The only character that I liked in this movie and thought was any had any bit of interest was really just Jackie Chan's character, really. That's about it. Every other character is just bland and forgettable. Even the villain's just bland, forgettable. That's exactly how I would describe these characters, and just they're not that well developed to me. Like, you just don't really care about them. It's just like, oh, they're heroes, so you're supposed to care about them. I just don't. They're just forgettable characters to me. A lot of the comedy in this movie does not work. It falls flat a lot. And that sucks to say because, you know, the humor with the other two Lego movies were so fantastic. They were so well written. I love the humor with those movies. With this, they just kind of go for those generic jokes that you would see in kids' movies for the most part. And it's just not good. It falls flat on its face a lot. And it's just like, oh, like, man, really? But like I said, there are some moments that are funny, but for the most part, it's really not. For the most part, the movie is just not that funny. I was just like, wow, like, just, what a downgrade, honestly. Like, they just go for the most, you know, obvious kid jokes that they can with this movie, and it's just, it sucks. It really does. It's not that great. I felt like the emotional weight in this movie was really forced. I really did feel like that. It was really, really forced with this movie. You know, I just didn't really think they did all that well with the emotional element of this movie. Because there are some scenes where you're supposed to feel emotionally invested and all that, and they just felt forced to me. And they weren't really that well developed, honestly. And you just don't really care. And you're supposed to care in those moments, but I just didn't. And they just didn't do a good job of developing it for me, personally. The story is very generic, honestly. The story is just very boring. Just really isn't all that investing in. It's very, very, very generic. Like, really generic. And the movie's really predictable, honestly. There were some moments in this movie where I felt it was really, really predictable. I was just like, I hate it when this happens with movies. And it gets really predictable, honestly, for a lot of the film. The writing isn't really all that special with the movie. It's just, the dialogue is very okay. The directing is fine. You know, not too, it's fine. You know, it's alright. The movie, though, oh god, is it just boring to sit through. It is so slow. You know, in the beginning, I was like, okay, probably this is just the beginning. It's just, you know, trying to set things up. You know, it's a little slow, but, you know, it's probably trying to set things up. No, it just keeps going and going and going, and it just moves at such a snail's pace. For a movie that's an hour and 37 minutes, dear God Almighty, doesn't move at a snail's pace. Seriously, like, I don't know. Okay, with a movie with an atmosphere like this, and, you know, with kind of these cool elements that you could have done with the movie, you make it this boring. With uninteresting characters and an uninteresting story. How do you do that? But nope, they found a way to do it, and yeah, the movie is pretty boring. So overall, the Lego Ninjago movie, it's not that good. It really isn't. I didn't find myself enjoying this movie a lot, honestly. It's just a very, very generic kids movie that is just bland and forgettable, honest to God. And which sucks to say because, you know, like I said, the other two Lego movies are so fantastic. They're so great. And then this one comes along and it's just like, are you sure this is a part of the same franchise? Like, seriously, it's really forgettable. It's not a terrible movie by any means. It really isn't a terrible movie. It came close to me at points. It really did. But, you know, overall, I think it's just mediocre at best. So it's time for my official grade on the Lego Ninjago movie. And my official grade on the Lego Ninjago movie is a C-. It's such a bland and forgettable movie that it's just like, with uninteresting characters, an uninteresting story, some really forced emotional moments, really predictable, just a lot of things went wrong instead of right with this film, and I just didn't really find myself enjoying it all that much. It's just a very forgettable movie, and it's just a very mediocre, generic kids film, and that, like I said, it sucks to say because of, you know, what came before it. So yeah, Lego Ninjago movie, not that great. Gets a C-. So if you have seen the Lego Ninjago movie, what did you think of it? Leave in the comment section below. And I'm FilmFan0599, and we will see you out later. Peace.